Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the apple of Eden, the assassin, my brother from the Brotherhood, my leap of faith, Josh.
Wow. Corey, if you would have just changed, like, apple of Eden to apple of my eye, that would have sounded like the most half-assed proposal I've ever heard.
Nice little poem.
Yeah, that other voice that you're hearing tonight, though.
I know. Special guest from the Great White North.
From Canada himself.
All the way from across the border, we have the one, the only, my favorite hero in training.
Hey, there it is.
My hero, Andre Wilson.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. I've been listening to these guys for 2,801 minutes.
An absurd amount of minutes.
Do you not have a life?
Legitimately, every Friday, I wake up for work, I get dressed, I go downstairs, make coffee, and download the episode. Swear to God, that's exactly how my Friday goes. Because I am so happy to hear you guys on Fridays.
What do you do on days where the show's uploaded late?
Yeah, what do you do when Josh is in charge of uploading the show?
I pray
it doesn't post until Saturday.
I pray that so if I wake up and don't see it on Friday, I just have the most depressing Friday, and then I wake up Saturday and go, oh, thank goodness. Woo!
Well, that's what chronic depression and a bad computer does to you. Anyways, Andre is here joining us because Corey and I are going to do something for the last couple episodes of this year. We wanted to bring in some friends of ours to talk about what's going on in Destiny, what's coming down the pipeline, because there is a very packed few weeks. This week was supposed to be a look back at Season of the Blunder, but we couldn't do that because Bungie decided to come out and drop a metric fuck ton of information on us today. Yeah. So we have a lot between a collaboration that nobody asked for or expected, a somewhat controversial cutscene.
What? There's no controversy in that cutscene.
Go on Twitter, you will think
cutscene
otherwise.
Sponsored by Nesquik.
I thought you were going to say it's sponsored by hardcore Republican Christians.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Sponsored by Chick-fil-A. There is so much to get through today. Oh. That Lore Corner is being replaced by cutscene discussion. That's how much I had to chop from this
cutscene corner is now a thing.
You know, by the way, you know how many people texted me about that cutscene and said, I didn't know they were gay? I'm like, what? Are you not paying attention?
People texted me and told me I didn't know that Saint was an EXO.
Yeah. That's me. I'm not even gonna lie. I watched it and now I said, Saint's an EXO?
What did y'all's name? What did you think his name meant?
Yeah.
Saint-14.
I said this to my friends last night because we were all hanging out, and I'm like, yo, I didn't know Saint was an EXO, and they both gave me a look like, are you dumb? I was like, what? They're like, Saint 14. I'm like, yeah, and they're like, Cade 6. I was like, and they're like, the numbers, they were just baffled. I'm like, look, guys, I'm sorry.
44.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Shiro 3.
Now it's like, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Exos have, dude, it literally blew my mind. I was like, oh my God.
It's fucking wild. But
Andre,
of course, as we always do,
I'm so glad to be here too.
We're gonna go through the normal run tonight, but this week we've got Andre joining us. Next week, the one and only Joasis is gonna be joining us.
Ooh, Big Joey.
Big Joe himself is gonna be joining us to talk about the new season that is launching on Tuesday, and then to close out the whole year, provided this is very tentative, provided that he does not have a child being born that week. Nerd Generalist will be joining us to talk about the Dawning, to talk about the new dungeon, and about kind of where we've been at in Destiny this year. If we have time to cram that in, we genuinely may discuss the dungeon way more than I plan to. But that's kind of a look at what we're doing for the rest of the year. The 15th will be or excuse me, it'll upload the 16th. So the 16th will be the last show of the year. For us, Corey and I are going to take a much-needed break for a few weeks after.
Well deserved. And
then we will be coming back in January for the Road to Lightfall. We'll be ready to kind of map out what that looks like.
Yeah.
Some lore discussions we want to have. We'll know a little bit more.
Big wrench in that cog this week, though.
Oh my god. Okay, so let's just get in. Let's get into all of it. Okay,
do it.
So first, we got to address. We're going to talk about the cutscene later. Okay, but Bungie comes out this morning and officially tweets the cutscene that we saw on Tuesday with an interesting caption. And I want to pull this up because I want to make sure that I get this absolutely right.
Ooh,
I don't want to speak wrong, but it's not. We did not expect a mention of a certain character in the description for this. I think it took every single one of us by surprise this morning. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I was not expecting to wake up and see Xivu Arath mentioned in this.
Yeah,
I mean, big bomb dropped.
I thought that they were gonna save Xivu Arath for like the final shape in something with Xivu Arath and the Witness. Like that was.
I found the tweet. Against all odds, my computer stuttering, I found the tweet. As the threat of Xivu Arath looms, Mithrax has taken time to study the secrets of Nezarec's relics. My first instinct upon seeing this was, fuck, did I miss some really essential story beats somewhere along the way?
So with that being said, with Xivu Arath looming, is that like a hint at like next season she's like, yo, what's up? I'm here finally? Or is that like she's on the way?
You think they're really going to save Xivu Arath for a season story instead of like a...
Yes.
Really?
So here's my logic behind that. There was once a time where we didn't think that Mithrax would be part of a season. There was a time when we didn't think that Callus's whole shindig would be part of seasons. We always thought those would be part of seasons.
Yeah, but...
Or expansions, excuse me.
Yeah, but there's... I feel like there's precedence for this, though, with Oryx and Savathun, though. You're going to leave the last sister out of a campaign and just give her a season?
Allow me to put the spinfoil theory hat on for a moment.
Uh-oh.
Put it on, Josh. Put on the hat.
All right.
I need the motion.
The hat's on for the first time. It's going to come on several times in this episode. Spinfoil hat theory. I'm not entirely convinced that Xivu Arath is meant to be a threat on the level of Oryx and Savathun. Now, before you go, Josh, isn't she the Hive God of War? Yes. But every indication that we have gotten in the story thus far is that she is working with the Witness because she is scared absolutely shitless of the Witness. She is absolutely terrified of this guy. That's why she was assaulting the Dreaming City in Season of the Lost. That's why she tried to stop the exorcism. She was doing that at the direction of the Witness. So if we can assume all that, and bears mentioning that Osiris was investigating leads on Xivu Arath when Savathun took him over, by the way. So, all that out of the way, Savathun, we know, is not gone for good. Okay? Her ghost is out there kicking around. What if he decided to go to Xivu Arath and was like, hey, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You guys don't like Savathun, but we have an army of light-bearing Hive, and a ghost is basically commanding that army right now. Somebody had to be hunting these relics. Who would be directing the Lucent Brood, hunting the relics of Nezarec, and why would the Hive want them? The only answer for me is either, one, you're being told to go do them for the sake of the Witness, who clearly wants to keep that power out of the Guardian's hands, or you're trying to get them to enact some sort of plan to bring Savathun back. So both of those, I think, are equally logical scenarios. Let me paint a picture for you, though. Okay, it's getting great. We're painting pictures right now, guys. Imagine we do a seasonal storyline. Xivu Arath, imagine she's front and center during our efforts to rally our troops for the next year between Lightfall and the final shape. And Savathun gets resurrected, causes some major havoc in the city, and then both sisters just decide to fuck off. They're like, nope, we don't want any part of this. What if they come back in the 11th hour of the final shape when all seems lost and the Lucent Hive join our coalition of ragtag traveler allies? Because it's worth remembering, they were originally supposed to be the first of the races raised up by the light.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason the Hive exists is because of the Witness. They are literally born out of the darkness. What if that's how we use the darkness's power against itself? I think that would be an interesting philosophical route for us to go down. And also it kind of fits in with like my grand master plan of giving planets in the Sol system to the races after the war is over. Give them, get the Titan. The Hive can go to Titan. The Cabal can have Mars, except for Keitel, who clearly her and Zaval are going to be fucking on that giant desk at the end.
Man.
I'm not sure who is fucking who at that point, but it's definitely happening. It's 10 minutes in, and I've already had to talk about space rhinos fucking.
Mm-hmm.
The Elixni are clearly going to reside on Earth with humanity as the closest our enemies turn closest allies.
What about Europa?
Bro, I don't want to banish them to Europa. They can have it if they want, but I think that they could do some good out there by the farm. I'm not saying we got to keep them in the city where they're, living like they're in war-torn Iraq or something, but
what are you talking about? We cleaned it up. It looks nice.
Yeah.
We hung a couple of banners, gave them a church pew, and stole a few paintings.
Didn't we give them stairs too?
I think they had the stairs.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. They got seating.
Bro,
they've got
there's
art,
so much
got...
embezzlement that has gone on from this. We're gonna find out that Spider has a secret getaway in the Cayman Islands.
Spider's just chilling on his own private island, basically.
Yeah.
He's chilling on a private island. He's being a gamer right now. But that's my 2 cents on the the Xivu Arath part of this, because that has been like the speculation of the community today is like, whoa, what the hell? I think this was an effort by Bungie to be like, okay, you guys want to know something about the next season? Here you go, Xivu Arath. And then you see so many people going, no, not like this. We don't want to know like this.
And then Bungie's like, well, why are you getting mad? We just told you. And we're like, damn it, no, we didn't want to know this way.
I think there's a discussion to be had at some point. Not tonight. We don't have time to cram it in tonight, but there's a discussion to be had about the secrecy that Bungie has gone about with seasons over the last year and a half, and how I don't necessarily, not even year and a half, really 2 years and some change. It's kind of happened since Arrivals, and how I don't think it's as effective anymore. It just actively makes the player base upset. It was cool when epilogues were things we didn't have to expect to lead into the next season. We would just get a tease, or it would be a cutscene that we were given a week before out of game, and then they played it in game for you also, so they could start setting the season and the tone and everything. There's plenty of evidence in the TWAB today for where we're going with this next season. If it really is Xivu Arath, cool, but there's a lot of signs pointing to it being a Warmind season. We have to awake Rasputin for the third and final time, apparently.
Yeah.
Seraph rounds are coming back in guns.
No.
There's a lot to get to. Boys, let's jump into this TWAB.
You said the word
here.
You said the word
It's
Seraph,
meaty.
and it scares me sometimes, because when you say Seraph Towers, it just brings back nightmares.
Oh, God. Yeah, there was a discussion happening on Twitter and on Reddit this week of, is Season of the Plunder the worst season in Destiny history? And the amount of people who have forgotten that Curse of Osiris and Season of the Worthy happened is just startling. Absolutely mind-blowing.
I feel like this, not that this is going to be the main topic, but I just feel like this season I don't think it was as bad as people say it was. It just it felt really long for some reason, and there wasn't enough to, every time you go onto a catch crash or something, there just wasn't enough to differentiate itself from another catch crash.
Yeah, lackluster, sure, especially compared to what we've gotten for the last 2 years for the most part. I'd say that. I'd say underwhelming in terms of both narrative, well, in terms of narrative, activity, and conclusion. But to put this on the level of Seraph Towers is just some absolute revisionist bullshit that I will not abide by.
Yeah, in my opinion, aside from the story, this season was better than Season of the Hunt.
Yeah,
at least the activities were better.
Season of the Hunt had a pretty decent. It had a pretty decent narrative.
Yeah, I meant like the.
It had Wrathborn hunts to balance it out.
Yeah,
like, y'all are really gonna tell me this is worse than Wrathborn hunts? No fucking way. No fucking way. There's no way. No. Okay, I'm gonna get upset. I'm gonna get upset. We're moving to the TWAB. We're moving into the TWAB.
The TWAB.
And what do you know? It starts off with something else making me mad. I feel vindicated because I feel so right about this. I said back when the merger happened, we had an audience question. We've had several audience questions this year about like, what crossovers do you want to see? Do you think there's going to be crossovers? And my response every time is, God, I hope not. And then the Fortnite collab happened. That one made a little bit of sense. Destiny came to the Epic Games Store. They put Javelin 4 in creative mode. They put Zavala, the Stranger, and Ikora in. You could get Sparrow. You could get a Ghost, a Vexfish. I run around with Lament as my pickaxe now. It's great. I'm a banana with a giant sword. It's fantastic.
I wanna say that aside from the Warlock armor, the armor that they chose to put in Destiny from Fortnite is pretty on point with the rest of the Destiny armor, at least for the Titan.
I think that the Warlock set is really goofy, but it's also really fun, which I don't feel like we've had like a really fun Warlock set before.
Takes the shaders really well.
Yeah, I think the fun sets have been largely relegated to Hunter sets. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the Titans just got an awesome Gundam set. So,
oh god,
I do agree that I think the Titan and the Hunter sets feel like they belong in Destiny more. But I mean, if we're gonna go like kind of goofy, I mean, this is a game with dinosaur armor now. Like all bets are out the window. I literally have a werewolf set for my Hunter from Halloween a few years ago. Like, I'm willing to excuse a goofy fox mask. You better believe I bought those Warlock boots, though, just so I can run around in Jordans whenever I play as my Warlock.
Those boots drip with swag.
It's great. It's
Legit.
Great. They're running around they're running around in thigh highs. It's fantastic. This is a collaboration. So this leaked out last night because I woke up to Corey messaging me about it. It leaked last night, and all I saw was the stuff in Assassin's Creed. So it's a crossover with AC Valhalla.
Yeah. So before we jump in.
Okay.
So I saw somebody posted the images with no tweet attached to it, with no context to it. I'm like, is this the Destiny hero shooter? Like, what is this? Why does this look so amazing? And then I saw Paul Tassi tweet about it, like, what? And he had quote tweeted somebody that had a video attached to it. And I was like, is this some sort of weird crossover? And then I was like, oh, this is that Assassin's Creed crossover thing.
Yeah. So I just want to say before Josh gets into it, I asked him prior to the show. All he told me was just wait. So I want you guys to just be aware this is
I'm feeling a meltdown. Come on.
This is gonna be a take, if you will. It's gonna be a take.
So
hot and spicy.
I've calmed down since this morning, but I think of all of the collaborations you could possibly do, one, this was on nobody's bingo card. Two, Assassin's Creed fleeced Destiny in this. The Shax and Saint 14 armor looks awesome. The Gallarhorn sword, the Dawn blade, it all looks great.
Can we get a Gallarhorn sword as an exotic now, by the way? It looks cool. I don't know what it would do, but it looks cool.
I agree. I agree. I think it's really silly that all those items are in fucking Assassin's Creed before they make an appearance in Destiny, before we can actually get them. Like, you're going to tell me that my Titan boys can't get the Shax armor or the Saint 14 armor? Mm-hmm. Like, I know we have Helm of Saint 14 and whatnot, but you're going to tell me I can't get Shax's helmet? Mm-hmm. Really? Even like a knockoff version with both horns? You're going to tell me I can't get that? And then I want you... So we're looking at this image, and it looks great on the left-hand side. You're like, oh, damn, this is going to be a really cool collaboration. Then you look at what Destiny's getting, and this is a steaming pile of dog shit. Okay? This is awful. This is awful. So the best I can make out is that the Warlock set is supposed to be like the Altair robes, which I think they did this looks like blue armor. This looks like armor you get for blues.
Mm-hmm.
The Titan set looks awful outside of that shield that you have on your back. The Hunter set, I don't even know what the fuck is going on here. The best I can interpret is that if the Titan set is Valhalla, the Hunter set is clearly meant to be for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which, hey, my favorite game in the series, like outside of Brotherhood, it's my favorite game in the series, but there's a reason why the Hunter is not bigger on this image, which I think is both hilarious and sad that the class most close to an assassin is like definitely in the background, definitely has a terrible set of armor, by the way, from what we can see. That Sparrow is awful.
That's clearly a Spartan helmet, by the way.
It's a Spartan helmet with like two fucking glowing eyes. Like, no, sorry. Nope.
It's
try again. This ain't it, Chief.
It's ironic that the class in Destiny that represents the assassin way mentality gameplay the most gets shafted the hardest. And excuse me, and the Warlocks who don't really assassinate get like the most accurate outfit, which is Josh, you said it, the Altair-esque outfit. So it's and then Titans, you guys have a shield. It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
To be fair, I'm tired of chess pieces with hair on it. Okay, there's a lot of
you guys and your hairy chess pieces.
But you would take it if it was the Shaxx arms. You would take it.
Well, yeah, that's different. That's Shaxx.
Okay. I want to make sure we're both on the same page.
No,
here.
I'm saying a generic
Ghost, and then I don't know what the fuck that ship is.
It's an eagle.
This is terrible. This is terrible, man.
I installed Assassin's Creed Valhalla last night just because I was like, I kind of want to play that. I'm kind of done with Odyssey. I think it's probably time to move on to Valhalla. And then this came out. I'm like, cool. I can play as Saint 14 as Shaxx.
See, what I would have loved for them to do is, say, for example, the Warlocks get like Altair, the Hunters get like Ezio, and the Titans get like Edward just the main assassins just are deviated. Between the three classes.
The Titans should have been Odyssey with the Spartans. The Spartans are the clear.
So, yeah, I kind of agree. I understand why the Titans are Valhalla, though. Like, the Norse, like, they're super big and buff and muscular. Like, I get it. They're muscle milk and power bars. How do you not give the Hunters some Ezio or Altair robes? Like, I don't know what you do for... I mean, for the Warlocks, I would argue they should have gotten, like, the pirate garb from 4. Edward.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
I would have said pirates or even the Native American garb from 3, because that's their.
Yeah, I mean I'd argue for both of those, but I understand why they wanted at least one set to be for Valhalla and why they wanted something from Odyssey, the 2 most recent games. I mean, maybe you give one of them a set from like something inspired by Mirage, which is upcoming. You know, that would be like classic assassin robes. Either way, I'm really annoyed by this, and I'm upset that it looks so low effort on Bungie's part in Destiny versus what you're going to get in Valhalla, which is a game that is at the end of its support cycle. It literally, the final update comes out with the Destiny stuff.
Yeah.
This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why on earth is this in Assassin's Creed? Why is Assassin's Creed stuff in Destiny? I can't excuse this the way that I did the Epic Games stuff. And, like, yes, we all know that I like Fortnite a lot, but that at least makes sense. That's the biggest game in the world, and you're bringing your game to Epic. What's the deal here? Did you get bought by Ubisoft or something? This is exactly what I was afraid of with the Sony acquisition. Was I famously said I do not want God of War and Horizon armor packs in my game, and this all but confirms to me that is going to happen.
This reminds me of when, like, Final Fantasy 15 did the crossover with Origins.
Oh,
and then you went to that temple.
It threw me for a fucking loop in Origins too, because you get the Final Fantasy 15 sword and you get the you do a little quest relating to the game.
Yeah,
it's so fucking weird. It makes no sense. I don't get this. This concerns me though, because this is 2 seasons in a row now that we've had a brand crossover, and I don't want this to become a regular thing, and I fear that it's about to.
I think it's going to.
It's going to, and like, you can hand wave it as much as you want and be like, well, they probably made the deal beforehand. The Epic deal likely came before the Sony purchase. This almost certainly came about the time that was finishing up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I can project a timeline onto it, like the talks may have been happening, but it definitely went into negotiations after they had this, after they were already in an agreement with Sony. And I understand, like, legally you can't stop doing business, you have to pursue things, yada yada yada. I'm now concerned for what's the next game they're going to do a crossover with, because I don't want to see other games shit in Destiny. Like, part of what I think makes Destiny so unique is it has a unique feel to it, and if I wanted to play as these characters, I'd go play that fucking game. Fortnite is one thing. That is one.
Yeah, but Fortnite they set the precedence of, like, okay, this is basically the Smash Brothers of shooters, right? Like, we're gonna get all the IP we can in here to draw as many people as we can.
And it's like that's fine, because I mean, like, you look at how crazy they go with that stuff, and I'm okay with it.
And it's also not story driven. There's no like lore really. I mean, there is, but not, you know, to the extent of something like Destiny.
They literally have reasonings for why these characters are there, though. Like, they actually have a baked-in lore reason. This is just silly. Like, you want to talk about a collaboration that would make sense? Give me fucking Destiny Monster Hunter as a crossover. Let me hunt an Ahamkara in Monster Hunter.
That would be sick.
Well, guess what? Monster Hunter Rise is coming to Game Pass in January.
5. Sir.
Yeah, so I mean, like, give me something like that where that would at least make like a little bit of sense, and like you could bring over like some wacky weapon from Monster Hunter or something, or some weapon clearly inspired by Monster Hunter. I don't know, like, you could do something unique in the game. But the point remains, like, I don't want that. Bungie has no need to be doing this, and I don't want to see this keep happening. And I'm afraid that now the precedent has been set, the floodgates have been opened. Fortnite is one thing. You've done it with Assassin's Creed now, so that pretty much shows me you have no standard in that department. Like, the game that makes no sense is the game that you went and made a deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, oh, a Shaq skin showed up in the new Killzone multiplayer or something. Like, Kratos-inspired armor didn't show up in Destiny, which I also would hate. It's, yes, let's go take fictional people from 5,000 years in the future and put them and their weapons in, not even their classes, weapons in 800s England. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I don't know. I'm going to be really salty about this, despite how good it looks in Assassin's Creed. And I think I'm also really upset because somehow they made the Destiny characters look better in Assassin's Creed than in Destiny.
Dude, Shaxx looks so good.
Shaxx and Saint 14 both look absurdly good. They look stupid as fuck when they put the cloaks on, but they look really good otherwise.
I can't even imagine Shaxx wearing a cloak. I can't.
It's bad. It's really bad. But you have to for the stealth mechanics.
Oh god.
I think it's rough. It's rough from the stuff that we've seen leaked. So, do we have any final thoughts on this, on crossovers? If we stay here, I'm gonna keep yelling.
Then we should probably move on then.
Yeah,
this is awful. This is a travesty. This is a travesty.
Yeah, this is I'll say interesting, to save harsher words for later.
To save harsher words for later. God damn.
Hey Josh, you want me to cheer you up?
Purchase these in Assassin's Creed.
You have to buy them?
You have to buy them.
Oh, gross.
I'm reading the blog post on Ubisoft right now.
Gross.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla players can purchase the Destiny 2 themed character pack, which includes armor sets, swords, a scout skin, and a mount skin. Players can also grab a weapons pack, which includes 4 unique spins on iconic subclasses, each with their own perks and custom effects. When Destiny 2 begins its next season, December 6th, players will be able to visit Eververse to get an Assassin's Creed themed ship, Sparrow, Ghost, and Finisher cosmetics, as well as 3 armor ornament sets. Okay, so that confirms for me there is a Hidden Blade finisher.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not the Hidden Blade,
nope.
Is that like the biggest blunder you could have made here?
What else? What else could it be?
I don't know. You call in a fucking eagle or something?
Whoa, an
eagle
like harasses.
You swing you jump up and swing the hatchet that they forced on you in Valhalla. I don't know. This is Ubisoft and Bungie's greatest minds together. Let's not underestimate the stupidity.
You know what crossover would have made sense?
Monster
Assassin's Creed Valhalla and God of War would have made sense. Not Destiny.
I mean, Assassin's Creed and Horizon Zero Dawn would have made sense.
Don't say that.
All right, I'm getting upset. Let's talk about something else that's going to make
a fine evening of Iron Banana and Trials of Osiris. So we're going to fly through this real quick. Trials is gaining 2 new weapons next season: the Exalted Truth Suros Adaptive Hand Cannon and the Unwavering Duty Suros Adaptive Machine Gun. And the Aisha's Embrace Scout and Reed's Regret Linear Fusion will be leaving. You have 1 more weekend to earn those. If you are listening to this episode, this is your time to go do it. Assuming you are listening to this on December the 2nd, you have 3 days left to go get these weapons. I really hope you decided to get them when they first told us about this.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Banner, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good, but Forge's Pledge and Reese Walker are both leaving. That's the Pulse and the Shoddy. And we are gaining Dark Decider Auto Rifle and Ganora's Axe, the Sludge Shoddy, is coming back.
Nice.
To the pool with new rolls.
I'm a fan of that.
Nightfall weapons. Oh boy. Guys,
Corey's gonna love this one.
I got so excited when I saw this.
There it is. Yeah.
So first off, Hung Jury is back. Okay, this is the first time we've seen a Nightfall weapon come back into rotation, which I find a little bit weird when we're getting Legacy Engrams in February.
Fine. I got a terrible roll on my 7,000 Hung Juries, so time to try again.
I'm hoping that Firefly Dragonfly is one of the rolls on here.
Oh, well, brother, if you give me that,
are they gonna allow these to be red box weapons?
No. No way.
Then why are you bringing them back?
I have no idea. But Wendigo, the heavy grenade launcher, is back. This is one of my all-time favorite legendary weapons. It was one of my favorite pursuit weapons. I know the heavy grenade launchers are in a really rough place right now, but I'm very excited for this to get random rolls.
But guess what? When they're not in a rough place, this is going to be your go-to.
This is going to be a go-to. And Silicone Nermona and Duty Bound are both leaving. Again, you're kind of shit out of luck if you wanted a Silicone Nermona. If you want a Duty Bound, you have the weekend to get it. We are also getting a Pulse Rifle as next season's pursuit weapon, which I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I do consider myself to be a Pulse Rifle connoisseur.
Pulses excite me.
You are? I did not know that.
You would never know this.
I thought you were a hand cannon guy.
These ornaments look really good, though.
The Hawkeye one is hard. Sorry, no, is it the Suros?
So it is Hawkeye. That is going to probably be the default look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks so good.
That one
black,
looks
red,
good.
And white.
I'm very excited for the Crucible skin. I like the Crucible skin a lot. And I like the Gambit skin, but I'm going to have to wait until the expansion to be able to buy it out of the kiosk because I am not resetting my Gambit rank twice for that skin. All right, here we go. Weapon philosophy. We've got an awful lot here. We are going to fly through this. There is so much. I cannot emphasize enough how much, if you are listening to this or you are watching this on YouTube, to pull up and read it for yourself because there is a lot going on here. There's a lot of
I might actually.
You mean you don't want to go over all of these little reticles?
No, I'm going to actually skip a lot of this. We are going to again, we're going to fly through this. We're going to see what happens. So,
gosh, why is this top so beefy?
With that being said, it's a huge weapons sandbox update. With the launch of Season 19, full auto toggle will be added to the gameplay section of the settings menu, just so you guys know, so that you don't have to equip that mod anymore. We'll be watching how players end up using this and are looking into additional ways for players to pick which types of weapons this setting applies to sometime after Lightfall. For now, we have the new toggle. On a related note, we're also aware certain melees also require speedy clicking and are looking at something similar for a subset. For example, glaive, sword, and roaming super melees, though currently not regularly charged and uncharged melees. All right, weapon archetypes. Here we go. Again, we're going to kind of blow through these. Shotguns. We've been looking into doing something for a while, giving each shotgun subfamily a custom fixed spread pattern and a matching custom reticle. Each of these spread patterns is intended to give a subfamily a unique style of gameplay and predictable effectiveness at specific ranges. So that's cool. Reticles are tuned to match the size of the actual spread pattern at the default field of view, but note that this is not the case as field of view changes or as spread angle changes, like if you're jumping, for example. We'll update reticles to react dynamically to spread angle and lightfall and field of view at a later release. This first step is crucial for getting that prepared for implementation in the future. This is where you guys need to be following along. I'll say that right now.
This is so much words. Holy shit.
We have held off on adjusting fusion rifles because the balance between shotguns and fusion rifles depends a lot on how these changes work out after Season 19 launches. There will be spread patterns for aggressive, precision, lightweight, rapid fire, slug, etc. And then additional changes, aggressive shotguns. All aggressive shotguns will now increase rate of fire after a kill as intended, and rapid fire increase PvE damage by 5%. And the reload speed benefit for rapid fire shotgun frames now always applies instead of only when reloading from an empty magazine. All right. So that's shotties there. There is a lot of weapon theory there. Clearly, shotguns are going to be something that are going to evolve over the next couple of seasons in 20 and presumably 21/22. I would expect this is kind of like them giving us a broad overview of where they're going to take that subfamily of guns in the near future. We got some of this last year with the 30th anniversary update. We had some, I think fusion rifles actually is where we had some of this before. We listed out some of the changes this time last year. So excited to see where that goes. Shotguns have been a big pain point in the Crucible for a long time. I'm kind of excited for this because now maybe it'll help players who don't like crunch the numbers understand what each of these means, and that's why I encourage everybody to go look at the spread patterns. So why is a certain thing not working the way that I thought it would? Like, oh, shotgun, you should kill somebody like right up close. Like, no, the spread will determine it. So this is good for everyone, I think. Sidearms, much more viable in PvP since the 6.2.5 buff. But this caused a noticeable overbuff to Drang, allowing him to compete too far outside the sidearm range, reduced the zoom strat on Drang from 14 to 13. Fusion rifles, man. Main ingredient in particular. Because it can roll with stability perks in both columns, we've adjusted some of these perks, but don't want to poke at them further if it isn't needed, so we're just hitting the out-of-band stats of this weapon directly. So they're directly targeting main ingredient. Reduced stability from 49 to 35.
Wow.
And reduced aim assist from 59 to 45. That is a massive drop-off for this gun. So I'm interested to see how that changes up in comp and trials, especially with the comp rework coming.
RIP to main ingredient.
RIP to Zer's main ingredient. Fusion rifle reticles don't react much to changing accuracy due to firing or jumping, even when on mouse and keyboard. So rebuilt hip fire reticle so that it reacts more obviously to changes in the accuracy cone. Glaives. This is one of the big ones for me here for weapon subsets. Glaive projectiles have not hit our quality bar for hit registration yet, so we've reworked them. Yes, they've been working for me really well. I know. We're also loosening the restrictions on some melee damage exotics and have adjusted those base melee damage and some of the PvE damage scalars to avoid degenerate damage multipliers. Glaive projectiles have been adjusted for more reliable hit detection over the network. Glaive melee attacks can now benefit from the exotic armor perks on Syntheseps, Wormgod Caress, and Winter's Guile. Very, very excited.
That's cool.
Hope this means Liar's Handshake is coming in the future. Glaive melee damage multipliers reduced by 25 to 30% against champions, mini-bosses, bosses, and vehicles.
Right. First of all, who's fighting a vehicle with a glaive, first of all?
I bet you there is someone...
Hi, my name is Josh. How are you?
I bet you there is someone who's like, I've done everything, time for a challenge. And they've taken a glaive and a sword into a freaking GM, and they're like, bring it on. I'll take anyone.
Less jazzed about this because let me tell you something. Glaive melee against champions has been just a godsend.
I know.
And against mini bosses, like you can just beat their ass. I really
like a bongo
enjoy it.
drum.
Pretty much. Damage against major and minor enemies is unchanged. Base melee damage reduced from 75 to 67. So they are bringing
a huge drop. Holy.
That is a huge drop. They're kind of bringing them more in line because I think that they were, for a while there, they were too good of an option not to be running in top tier PvE content.
Yeah, when glaives came out, they were like, if you don't have a glaive, don't come and join us, please. Basically.
Man, I'm going to be honest. Like, I run my glaive pretty religiously in Duality, for example. That's one where I definitely run it. I go through almost the entire dungeon just beating things with my glaive. I run a glaive and a sword through there.
Yeah, I do too.
Andre said it as a joke, but that's what I run in there.
I also run that in Duality with
good old
rifle.
falling guillotine. Yep, with a pulse.
Yep.
I run those two, and then I can run Outbreak.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I run.
Hand cannon. There's some rows adjustments here. Increased range to 43, reduced stability to 40, reduced handling from 68 to 60. Airborne effectiveness is 20. Oh God, airborne effectiveness. I don't even want to talk about that right now. Blinding effects.
Airborne thing.
We're flying through. Blinding effects. Grenade launchers. Queenbreaker and Grand Overture. All previously used older blinding screen effect, which players are reported could feel jarring and pose photosensitivity concerns. Switch to the new arc blind effect, which great. And then weapon mods. Dragonfly, Rampage, and Surrounded have had their spec mod behaviors enabled by default. So cool. Perks. Man, this is where we're going to skip a lot of things. We're not happy with how the prior redesign of Air Assault turned out, so we've taken a second pass at it. Now directly rewards success and is much more defendable for players. Grants a stacking bonus to airborne effectiveness and maximum of 2 stacks, 1 per final blow, 2 per airborne final. Each stack is plus 30 AE. They're very clearly trying to still get us to build into this. It personally does not bother me a whole lot, but I know it bothers a lot of hyper-aggressive top-tier players.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this is going to make things better or worse for them. I guess we'll know by the morning, by the reactions.
Yeah.
My gut call is that this is a step in the right direction, but it's kind of like I saw it described as 3 steps forward or three steps back and 1 step forward, essentially. It's kind of how AE has gone for the last couple of seasons, so we'll see. Headseeker has been a boring and questionably useful perk on most pulse rifles for quite a while. Yep. So we've redesigned it. Body shots now increase your precision multiplier and increase aim assist. Additional body shots reset the timer. As a 0.55 second base timer. Body shots while Headseeker is active reset the timer. Again, fairly excited about this. I have Headseeker on a good number of weapons. Encore. This is one you guys are going to go read this yourself because there's a lot here. Sarah frowns. Sarah frowns, man. Will be appearing on more weapons next season.
Yay!
But in its current form, its strongest magazine perk by the large margin. So we pulled it back a little and made more of a trade-off. Removed plus 10% range scaler. Now offers plus 7% stability, plus 3 range. Too early to tell if this is a good thing or not. I have a feeling this may be one of the perks that gets reverted. Even if it's not all the way, I could see them like maybe changing the range scaler to 5%.
Yeah.
Tunnel vision plus kill equip not being refreshable while active has always been counterintuitive, so now we've set them up to allow that. Cool. I have a tunnel vision kill equip. What do you call it? From last Grid Skipper from last year. So excited for this. There's some stuff in here on redirection if you have a gun that uses redirection. Buffs. Whew. I really should have brought a drink in here.
Go get one.
No. I'd have to run.
Andre and I can entertain.
We're good. I'd have to run all the way down to the garage. I'm good. Buffs. We want players to be able to use the Hake Breach armaments, Origin trait to bring down Ward of Dawn, Well of Radiance, and Stasis Crystals in PvP. Now increases damage versus Ward of Dawn and Well of Radiance Sword by 30%, 60% with the Artifact mod. Damage bonus against Stasis Crystal system increased by 15%, both base and with Artifact mod. Cool. That's going to be an interesting change, I think. I'm just trying to fly through and find what we need here. Because there's a lot of things here. Ambitious Assassin's recent adjustment gives it a remarkably high potential for overflowing a magazine, but in areas with sparse enemies, it can be hard to chain kills quickly enough. Increased allowed time between kills from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. Cool. Well-rounded duration increased from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. Zen Moment will no longer deactivate on a miss. Now it has a 1 second timer. As part of the Divinity rework this season, we looked at other related hiccups, including rewind rounds. It now works as intended when hitting the cage created by Divinity. That has always been an issue. Yeah, you guys can read the rest of these. And then nerfs. There are some nerfs coming to box breathing, unstoppable force, and 1-2 punch. Again, you guys can come in and read these. You can read the enhanced perks for yourself. We're not going to fly through all these because literally every enhanced perk is getting something, which is wild. Because we want to move on to exotics. Exotic reworks. We've identified a handful of weapons that we felt needed a substantial change to really hit that level of exoticness we expect from Destiny 2. The Fundamentals perk, which can be seen on the damage-switching type exotics of Borealis, Hardlight, and Dead Messenger, while functional, felt like it could do more to grant the mode some identity based on the selected damage type. So each damage type now grants related different weapon stats. Think Elemental Capacitor if that perk checked the damage type on the weapon instead of the player subclass. So Arc will give you plus 25 handling and plus 5 range. Solar, plus 35 reload speed and plus 20 airborne effectiveness. Void, plus 20 stability and 10 aim assist. Even with the above change, we felt like Borealis still needed a more substantial change. Breaking a match shield with Borealis now refills the magazine from reserves and allows your next 5 shots to deal bonus damage, not deactivated by reloading.
That's kind of sick.
That's wild. And I cannot believe that we're talking about this, but, sorry, we haven't gotten to buffs yet. Jade Rabbit is a strong scout rifle, but its exotic perk was lackluster. We redesigned it to be more of a gameplay loop. Quickly landing 3 crits, returns around to the magazine, and increases the damage of your next body shot. Stacks up to 3 increased damage body shots, resets if you reload.
I see this being used a lot more.
Yeah, it's a nightmare in momentum control. That's basically all that it is now. Which is terrifying on maps like Disjunction. And then, oh boy. So nerfs. They included a nifty little graph here for which exotics are used. And Arbalist, man, dominates. Over 25%. Divinity is about 13. Witherhoard's about 13. Then you have a nice drop off to Izanagi's at 5, and then it just keeps going down. And
listen,
that is
you Arbalist users.
That
go
was
grab
as of
a
November.
hand cannon.
That was as of November 15th. Exotic special usage. That was weapons and raids, by the way. In PvP, exotic special weapon usage as of November 15th, Witherhoard at a whopping 27-ish%. Forerunner at about 20. Jotun at 15. Telesto and Chaperone and Dead Messenger all around 6 or 7%, and then a pretty steep drop off.
Chaperone rocks.
I swear to fucking Christ, the next time I get killed with a Witherhoard shot, I will punch my screen.
Don't stand in the goo.
I cannot, but like it makes me even more mad when I'm coming around a corner and someone just yeets a ball of goo at the corner and I don't see it in time. Die. I'm like, are you
just jump me? Or dodge or blink or whatever. Do something.
It's just God. Use a different gun, please.
Please, God, I don't like it either. It's not fun. Oh man, yikes. We have some major changes coming to Witherhoard. However, Witherhoard's our next weapon to talk about. Witherhoard is extremely strong in both PvE and PvP, dealing high damage quickly and for an extended duration. We aren't making changes to direct hits, and we're leaving the damage and ammo capacity alone. But since this weapon in its current iteration is too strong in PvE, not to mention that the Taken Portal is extremely difficult to deal with in PvP, we've made the following change. Taken Portal duration has been reduced from 7.5 to 4.5 seconds.
Whoa. Okay, I was kidding.
So much.
3 seconds is so much for this gun. But I also can't deny that, like, if it was shorter, I probably would have won a few trials rounds last week. So,
I mean, 4.5 seconds is still a lot of time. To be
it's
fair.
Still a lot, but I feel like that's way more acceptable than 7.5.
Yeah. Definitely a gun that was made for a public event that only lasted a season and then never touched again.
There's a lot of unhappy people right now being like, "Oh my god, my favorite gun."
Oh my god, so many rage threats are going.
with my girlfriend.
Yeah, dude.
Oh boy, here we go. Regarding Divinity, this is a must-have weapon in endgame PvE. The combination of the strongest possible weaken effect, the cage making critical hits trivial, and intrinsic overload being too strong, as is evident in looking at how this weapon is used in instances like raids. It was time for a change. We looked at several options, including making the weapon harder to use or reducing its uptime by bringing its ammo down, but ultimately felt its identity is all about making damage phases more enjoyable. Cage uptime will remain the same, but we brought the weakened strength down to match other standard weakens in game. It is important to call out you can still apply a 30% weaken debuff with the cage by combining Divinity with Tether or Tractor Cannon. Divinity's weaken has been reduced from 30 to 15%, still self-buffs to 30. This is an acceptable change, I think. I agree. It's become a little too essential to use. Clearly, it felt like raids and dungeons were being developed with this weapon in mind, and I don't think we should ever get to a point where we're having to design stuff around a specific weapon or making it to where that weapon is essential. Like boss health was pretty clearly being influenced by Divinity. And that's a problem. That's a problem when you have to design around one thing. Like just like how they had to run Gallarhorn into the ground for God's sake into Taken King. You know, literally nuked from orbit.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even viable after the campaign, right?
You couldn't even use it in like strikes. That's how much they nuked it.
Yeah,
and I think they really,
because
they've learned a lot in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, well, like they had introduced infusion, but you couldn't use any year 1 weapons.
Oh, brutal! Holy cow!
Yeah.
Arbalist missed out on the body damage reduction that Lawrence Driver received, making it too easy to get one-hit body shots in PvP while also not requiring enough precision in PvE. Reduced body shot damage demands Lawrence Driver.
Lawrence Driver can go to hell.
Gallarhorn is the highest DPS rocket launcher and a great support weapon for legendary rockets, so we picked one of those 2 roles and opted to lean into its support power. Reduced primary rockets impact detonation damage by 25%. Wolfpack rounds are unaffected. This brings it just into the desired band without nerfing it past other rocket launchers. I have a feeling that they end up giving this a slight buff partway into Lightfall. I think that, I mean... go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like 25 is feels like a lot. I would have said like a 15% maybe.
And I think they're ultimately going to readjust this to about 15. I do think 25 feels a little harsh, especially when you consider that the majority of people using this are probably those who aren't grinding out duality to get a good Storm Chaser or may not know that like Taipan is a good move. This is a good, I think, not just like early option, but like it's an iconic weapon. It is like the weapon of the Iron Lords, and at the Battle of the Six Fronts, like this, I feel like this can be a little bit more powerful than others, and it's an exotic. Like I think it should feel better than others, but I do understand the philosophy, and too many people are using this. I have made the joke that this is my anti-barrier weapon when I see barrier champs, because that's how good this weapon is. It probably will not do that anymore, which can be a little frustrating. I think it's great for Legend Lost sectors. You slap this on and walk through it.
Yeah, but you can still shoot off 2 rockets, right? With Gallarhorn?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can still do it, but it's just, can you get off both rockets before that anti-barrier shield kicks in?
Fair, yeah.
The answer is almost always going to be no.
You're just not triggering hard enough, Josh.
I guess. Here's the one I'm really excited for, though, guys. Reduced Forerunner base damage from 40 to 37 and crit damage from 72 to 67.
The next time I see one of you little squids shoot me with a Forerunner, I will find you and I will give you a firm pat on the back and say, "Don't kill me anymore." I hate this gun. I hate this gun.
There's an interesting graph here when we're talking about buffs. As of November 15th, they gave us a list of the lowest 20 exotic weapon usage by owners with ownership percent. Merciless being used by 0.6% of players.
What? Still?
You
Still.
guys are
believe it or not, Darcy is being used by more at 1.4%.
Yeah, but I think
I do not know who is running Salvation's Grip out here, but 1.8% of you are running Salvation's Grip in activities apparently. But what I want to call attention to here is just the hilarity of several of the season pass exotics from the past just not being used at all, including Grand Overture, which, man, I'll talk about a recent exotic not being used at all. Tommy's Matchbook. Ruinous Effigy is in here. Oh, man, I did not think Wave Splitter was this low, but Wave Splitter's at 1.5%. I mean, clearly people just don't like using trace rifles in PvP, because you've got Wave Splitter, you've got Prometheus Lens, you've got Ruinous Effigy, all here on this list of the 20 least used.
Nobody's used trace rifles in PvP since Laser Tag that one season.
With the addition of the full auto setting, we're replacing full auto trigger system on each exotic that had it. No Time to Explain will get Feeding Frenzy. Traveler's Chosen will get Surplus. And Vigilance Wing will get Ensemble. All three of those, I think, are good. Those are good.
Yeah, I like the No Time to Explain.
Yeah. It's going to make a spicy gun even spicier.
Just to backpack off what Josh said, Travelers also still has Osmosis if anyone cares, just because it's here.
Yes. Fixed an issue where crits from Dead Man's Tale relating inconsistently depending on whether your aim was above or below the target. We've also made some small changes to its base damage. Now prefers crit hits over body hits and hip fire if both types of targets are inside a precision aim cone. Body shot damage increased from 46 to 54 and reduced crit damage from 81 to 80. Cool. That thing still shreds in PvP. We've been looking for a way to help Darcy players. We know many Guardians would like to move it to the energy slot, but there's plenty of competition for sniper rifles there, even exotics. Now applies Jolt when damaging targets affected by personal assistant and increased base airborne effectiveness to 80. Who is fucking running Darcy for airborne effectiveness?
If I get shot with someone who jumps in the air and shoots me with Darcy, I wouldn't be mad. I'm like, you know what?
You're ending up on some kid's YouTube channel that night.
Oh, I'm for sure on a TikTok easily.
I thought Darcy was more of a PvE, like, DPS weapon at one point.
I guess it's been good for one raid ever. And that raid is no longer in the game.
What, Leviathan?
No, that was the strat for Scourge of the Past.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I remember people using it when we were doing Leviathan for a while.
It was one of the super viable weapons when I first ran during Forsaken. It was actually viable for Scourge of the Past. It was kind of wild. Even up until it got vaulted, it was still like a go-to weapon there if you didn't have something better. Double snipes was the way to go. You ran Darcy and then you ran a Vorpal Sniper in your middle slot. Wishender has always had a hidden damage bonus versus targets affected by Witherhoard due to its identity as a taken hunter's weapon. Increased bonus versus Witherhoard blighted targets from 10 to 25%. That is wild. I expect to see Witherhordes and Wishenders on the same team in PvP now, which I did see a little bit of that this past weekend. I'll have that noted. Airborne effectiveness increased to 80 for special ammo not for special ammo snipers. For Whisper of the Worm. Not the Whisper of the Worm buff we were looking for. Chain reaction has been added to the Prospector. Fourth Horseman's recoil decreased by 50%. Here we go. More changes to Forerunner. Forerunner is fun in PvE, but it's never been a top pick. Changes to the weapon and its grenade should make it more viable. Increased crit damage by 30% and the rock's damage by 60% in PvE. Reduced ammo cost to activate the rock from 6 to 4. Increased damage at the outer edge of rock's damage radius from 0 to 20%. Cool. Merciless's decreased charge time now resets on a 5-second timer. It's refreshed every time you land hits. Rat King.
Does anyone still use this? Actual.
Radius required to activate Rat King increased from 15 meters to 20 meters. I'm going to skip basically all of what's left. We are going to Quicksilver Storm. We'll go over this just because it is a fairly new weapon. Grenade intentionally shipped on the weak side. We wanted to see what the uptime of the grenades was like in the wild rather than ship them too strong, but we believe it's safe to increase the damage and the radius a fair bit. We've also fixed a bug with the rockets. They weren't intended to be arc, and this bug, unchanged, would interfere with the catalyst coming in Lightfall. Increased PvP maximum grenade damage from 80 to 120, and increased the explosion radius from 3 meters to 4 meters, switched rocket damage to kinetic. Grand Overture, increased missile damage by 50%. Overall damage of Xenophage increased by 5% and now deals roughly half its damage as impact, and the rest is detonation. Oh my god. We're almost done. We're almost done.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm actually sure. We are genuinely almost at the end of this gigantic pile of information. Some exotic armor pieces were part of combinations allowing extremely high damage output from melee attacks and PvE. So we brought a couple of these down versus altering enemy health. That's Worm God's Caress and Winter's Guile have been reduced on their maximum damage multipliers from 7.5 to 3.5. Note on Gear Falcon's Hauberk. We have a change coming in 6.3.0.1. Here is a sneak preview of the changes we believe will address balance concerns in PvP while maintaining a clear identity in the void space. Gain volatile rounds when exiting invisibility, and when executing a finisher while invisible, this exotic now gives nearby allies a reserve overshield and give the wearer a temporary bonus to weapon damage. So it's definitely still viable in PvE, and I do think it addresses a little bit of the PvP concerns. Still really worried about invisible hunters overall, especially now ones that can, grant overshields, but...
Yeah, you guys scare me, for sure.
Here we go. The final thing we got to read here. We'll talk about Void Hunters really shortly after this. Things players can look forward to in the future. A heavy weapon damage rebalance. Tinkering with bringing up some less effective options while bringing some damage outliers down. And then that pretty clearly is going to influence the Lightfall DPS meta, as they say here. I have a really strong feeling we're going to swing back towards heavy grenade launchers. A large rebalance of airborne effectiveness strat, making primary ammo weapons significantly more accurate while airborne without any investment in the strat. Think Icarus level accuracy from before Season 17. Specifics are still in development. Tweaks to the new shotgun reticles, and a pass at adding subclass 3.0 verbs to several exotic weapons. There are currently 7 weapons with these verbs. Those are all great. Those feel like things that either are going to ship with Lightfall or maybe partway through this new season. I have a feeling we're not going to get a huge mid-season patch knowing that Lightfall is on the way, and they probably just want to rebalance the whole sandbox then, and also see how Strand reacts with some of this. But the airborne effectiveness strat, again, a perfect example of, you took 3 steps back trying to take a step forward. I feel like almost all of that's going to be undone by the end. I feel like over the next couple seasons, they're going to completely undo all the nerfs they did there. That's been a huge pain point with the PvP community. And I think you can bring airborne effectiveness back without the terrorization of Stompies or Top Tree Dawn. I think there is still a way to do that, but I'm not a game developer, so I'm backseat game deving right now. Whew. All right. The PvP community has spoken, and they've said, y'all, something's got to change with invisibility when going up against other Guardians. 6.30.0.1 is scheduled to be released the week of December 13th. We're moving up a change to Void Invisibility to help reduce its power in high-level Crucible activities. This is some information for the radar. Definitely should go read this if you ever have had a question on how the radar detects things. After update 6.3.0.1, when a player is invisible, their maximum radar range will be reduced to 24 meters, and they will not have access to the information in the gutter range, which is the outer ring and has a maximum search range of 64 meters. Until you are visible again. 24 meters sounds like a long range on paper. Our playtest show this reduction in information availability has a significant impact on how invisible players approach engagements and allows potential targets more chances to get the drop on an invisible aggressor. It also offers a way to reposition when they hear the audio cue for invisibility. We found this change has minimal impact on invisibility's role in PvE. We will be monitoring feedback and adjust further if needed. I have a feeling you're going to have to adjust it just a little bit more, but this is a good first step, I think. To bring it in line. Season 19 artifact mods. There's a little bit here. There's going to be a lot of love for stasis, apparently. You'll see some reprisals, reimaginings, and some experimentation. Anti-champion mods for hand cannons, scout rifles, bows, pulse rifles, auto rifles, submachine guns, as well as the return of unstoppable grenade launchers. These are I think these are all pretty standard mods at this point. You know, you can pretty much expect most of these in a given season. So great. There's plenty of variety for everybody. Lucent Finisher mod returns to help you generate heavy ammo, and a few new twists on old favorites, including a version of Passive Guard that works with glaives, and a reprise of Breach and Clear, designed to work with and interact with Void 3.0. I love Breach and Clear. That was one of the most fun mods they've ever done.
What did that do again?
Breach and Clear, if I remember, it was a huge buff to grenade launchers.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I believe that's the one. I'm looking up the exact definition because, man, it's been like a year and a half. So I actually don't remember. It also applies a debuff, which is a big deal. Where is it? Oh my god, I can't find it. I thought this was going to pull it up. Oh no! Oh, okay. So Breach and Clear. With Breach and Clear installed, Grenade Launcher hit will debuff any enemy for 10 seconds, causing them to take 30% more damage. Also reloads automatically all of your stowed weapons. It costs 9 energy, but the whole philosophy was it can completely replace Divinity. So I'm excited to see how that works. This was a lot of fun. I was thinking of a different mod. I was not thinking of Breach and Clear. I was thinking of something else. That we spammed the ever-loving hell out of during Vault. This might be it, but I don't think it is. I'm very excited to get the Bust Anarchy out again after Void 3.0. I want to see how this goes. Experimental artifact mods for chest and leg slots that grant bonuses to resilience and mobility. We also have a helmet mod that grants additional airborne effectiveness to the weapons you are wielding. Monochromatic Mastro mod in the class item slot rewards you for generously using weapons and subclasses that match their damage types. We've even included a mod aimed specifically at solo players, which should be very useful in tackling Legend Lost sectors to get just the right roll on the exotic you're looking for.
Ooh, okay.
I'm interested to see how these go. This may be the first time I need to have like multiple class items ready to go with different mods. Oh my god, we're almost at the end of this job. My throat is genuinely starting to hurt. A couple months ago, we got to choose which weapon we wanted to see an exotic ornament for. And now the first designs of the Arbalist ones are out here. And man, I got to tell you something. I think all three of these look really good. Yeah. I would like the historic one more if it didn't look so much like an ornament we've already gotten for it.
Yeah.
But I think... Go ahead, Corey.
Oh, I was going to say, I think the Synthwave one looks the best. I think it's fucking awesome.
The Synthwave, listen, whoever designed these knows the way to my heart, because Splicer and Deepstone Crypt's aesthetics are still my favorite in this game. But goddamn, I really love red and black. I really have a soft spot for Black Armory in my heart. But we never got a Black Armory linear fusion.
Yeah.
So, and both of these, just, God, I need more of both of these aesthetics. I'm absolutely voting for Synthwave. This email is going to come out on December 5th, along with a highlight of your Season 18 moments. So that's going to be interesting. The winning ornament will be announced on the December 15th TWAB. This first community-created item that will make its way into the game. Who knows what other community-inspired designs could make it in? I'm interested.
I guess I don't understand why they can't just, like, put them all in. Why not?
I think having 3 weapons or 3 ornaments for 1 exotic would be a little bit of overkill. Doing it, like, right off the bat. If it was for, like, a legendary weapon, sure. I think 3 right away is going to be a little ridiculous. But if there's enough demand, if it's, like, really close, I could see them doing 2. And they finally announced who's doing it. Stellar State Logic is doing it. And there's going to be a special TWAB edition community focus by the time this episode is live. So I look forward to reading that tomorrow. You will likely not see this design in Destiny 2 until Season 21. That is not as far out as I thought it was going to be. So that means roughly at the end of May, we'll be seeing this ornament. I will also say there's probably no way that this is going to be available for Bright Dust. I will almost guarantee you this will have to go up for silver.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if Bungie allowed you to buy this for Bright Dust, ever.
Yeah. I wonder if it's going to cost a little bit more, too, just because they probably have to, like, I don't know, somehow pay the person.
I want to say they've already said that when they picked the artist, because they did not let people apply for it, when they picked the artist, they said there was already compensation in place. But I am going to go back, and I will clarify that on next week's episode. New Prime Gaming Bundle. It's centered around Sturm. Cool. I don't know who's still using Sturm, but if you are, it's there. Last call for Destination materials. It's gone. It's out of here.
Should I use mine all up? Is that what you're basically saying?
Yes. You can turn them in for Glimmer.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's it. So like I turned in all of my Dusklight and Spin Metal. I will personally save a small stack of each of these in my vault, just for like posterity purposes, to be like, I remember when
back in my day
we had to walk both ways up and down the hill to the tower. So players looking to earn the following Bungie rewards to complete the associated in-game achievements before their in-game deadlines between December 5th and 7th. Gift of the Thunder Gods t-shirt, Outfly the Wolf's pin, Plunder soundtrack, King's Fall raid art print, the raid pin, Beacon's guidance hat, Scallywag seal, and Vidmaster seal. I had forgotten the Vidmaster seal was still a thing until I got the update on my order today. Let's see what else. The Stadia stuff. I mean, come on, we already know about that. Here, there is a note here, though. So Corey and I were wondering about this a few weeks ago. We found out about the Stadia shutdown. Players who have Stadia accounts linked to their Bungie.net profiles who do not have their Stadia character set as their active cross-save do not need to unlink their Stadia profiles from their profile prior to the shutdown of the platform. Inactive Stadia account links will be automatically removed from player profiles after January 18th, 2023. Players who intended to set their Stadia characters as their active cross-save prior to the shutdown but encountered issues should see our Stadia cross-save troubleshooting guide linked below. So I think that we're all safe.
Yeah.
I know we had one person listening who played a lot on Stadia, and I'm really sorry. I hope that these resources are of some help to you, because I couldn't begin to try and explain this to you.
Yeah, this is Sorry.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
Yeah. Hopefully you have another platform to play on too. I mean, I know like money is tight all around, and Stadia was kind of like a cheap choice, especially, you know, at the time.
I really wish that this was still on xCloud.
Yeah.
Alas.
Well, I feel like this could, I don't know. I need, what I want is for Xbox to let you be able to play any game that you've purchased. When is that? I mean,
that is coming.
I know.
They straight up confirmed that. They were aiming for this year, and I just don't think it's going to make it out this year.
Yeah.
I think like Q1, they want that in place for Starfield. I guarantee it.
Of course they do. They announced it so long ago. I'm just like, man, this got to happen soon.
I mean, It was part of the whole cloud package announcement. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Because that was always the goal. That was always the question, like, are we going to get this or not?
Right. And I know, like, not that this is Xbox podcast or anything, but like,
yeah.
I understand like COVID happened and there's other priorities, especially now with like the Activision deal and stuff. But like, man, I would like to play some of my other games in cloud form, you know. But oh well. Anyways, moving along.
Before we go, a small sneak peek into next week's TWAP includes more creative ways to get your stealth on with the Ubisoft announcement. Gross. We're getting those ovens ready for Christmas, Grandma, and a traceable outline of previous updates that you'll want to keep in mind for the road ahead. Okay, cool. So we'll see how that goes. I have zero hopes and expectations at this point when you let off with Assassin's Creed. Guys, I think it's time. Let's talk about that cutscene.
Yeah.
It's finally time. Let's get to the cutscene of it all. let's start with the good. Let's start with the good. Let's start with the non-controversial. If this is controversial to you, then please reevaluate your life. The scene between Saint and Osiris.
I thought you were gonna talk about drinking the melted dead alien tea.
We'll talk about Nescafe here in a minute.
Nescafe, holy shit!
Nesquik.
Yeah, I was calling it Nesquik this week too. I think that the scene between Saint and Osiris is genuinely one of the most touching scenes.
It's beautiful.
I got really agitated when there were some players saying that we should have been able to be there for this moment, and it's like, no, we shouldn't have. This is a moment between Saint and Osiris. We don't need to be at Saint's. We don't need to be at Osiris's bedside. Although I do agree that seeing Saint take his helmet off in game would have been a powerful moment.
Yeah.
The moment heard around the world as apparently like 90% of the player base finally realized he's an EXO.
Yeah.
Even though the voice filter and the name gave it away, Andre. We brought him on this show to roast him, apparently.
I know we did.
I was just starstruck by Saint, and I just completely forgot he was an EXO.
That's fair. Fair. He's a beautiful robot. It's fair.
I legit thought he was some like old dude with like a gnarly beard and like a scar over his eye. I don't know why.
No, that's Osiris.
Yeah, this is one of the first times we've seen Osiris without all of his gear on, which makes sense. They're not going to let him lay in bed with all his warlock armor on.
Well, they showed him without his helmet during the Osiris campaign.
I said one of the first times.
I know, but
most of us did not remember Curse of Osiris, Corey.
I know. I was going to say I know a lot of people don't want to remember
what happened.
But I just...
Anyways,
someone's got to keep you on your toes, Josh.
We got a beautiful, touching scene between those two.
What do you think kissing an EXO is like?
Cold.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's got to be cold.
You think he's sharp? You think they like? I don't know.
Some say it might be heavy metal.
Oh God! All right. Anyways, just
it's great.
It's great. Quote.
I think that man, does he have like built-in like warmers for when it's cold?
Yeah.
Does he like breathe a little bit of like hot air into you?
What does that feel like?
What does an EXO tongue feel like?
I don't think there is a tongue. I think it's just a void.
Just a light in there.
You're one-way Frenching.
Oof.
Man. But still, all jokes about whether Saint has mouth warmers or not. This was a very, very beautiful scene. Definitely one with a lot of payoff that I think a lot of us have waited years and years to see.
Yeah.
And I think a big step forward for diversity and inclusion in the game, especially.
I'm shocked in a good way. Like I'm in a good way. But, like, I'm shocked that they actually showed that. I mean, I know Bungie's always been about inclusivity and promoting that kind of stuff, right? But, like, I was genuinely happy that they showed that.
I think it's big for a game from an FPS studio to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've gotten to the point where it's like, life-altering to see a AAA game do this. I think it's big for, in a genre that's traditionally dominated by over testosterone infused men and like the Call of Duties and Battlefields of the world, that we got a scene like this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't between go ahead.
I was saying that, like, to backpack off what you said about how people said that, like, we should have been there. I personally would have felt weird as a character if I was in the room when this was happening. Only because, like, this was their moment, and throughout the story, we've heard Saint, like, ask Ido if she's figured out something for Osiris. Like, we saw how much he was wanting this. So for this to happen, I don't think even Savalo, like, if he was in the room, I don't think he should have been. Like, this was a Saint and Osiris moment, and that is it. There's no one else in the room. It is just them, and they are having their moment, and I think it was beautifully done. Again, it would have been cool to see it in game, but I'm almost glad that it was a cutscene and it was just their time, because it was so cool to finally be like, holy shit, he's awake, and they can finally reunite and maybe just, be together now.
Yeah, I think also I think one of the bigger things that we're not talking about as much with this scene is we talk about progression and inclusivity and whatnot. I think it's very important that the scene that does this first in Destiny, like in game, mind you, is that it's between two male identifying characters and not between two female characters, like you would probably expect in a male dominated genre. This feels like a scene that is free from the male gaze. And I think that's really, really important for this. I think because like most guys would be like, I've seen a lot of comments this week, let's just put it that way, where they're like, oh, stop pushing your agenda. But those same guys, if it was two lesbians, would be like, oh, fuck, yeah, this is hot. Like, no, that's not the point. They're not there for you to sexualize. This is telling a legitimate story. These are two characters that have 1,000 years of history between them. Osiris literally broke time with us to save Saint because he loved him that much. Mm-hmm. Like, look at what Saint has gone through to bring Osiris back.
Like, if that's not love, then I don't know what is.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, listen, I may sit here and I may make a whole lot of jokes about, like, oh, Keitel and Zavala, man, those two are fucking hardcore. Like, they're fucking on that desk looking out over the last city. That's all fun and games. But these are the relationships that, we treasure. We talk about Saint and Osiris. We talk about, the budding relationship between Zavala and Keitel. Zavala and his wife, we got that backstory. Eris and her fire team. Like, relationships are at the core of Destiny. They're at the core of what makes this game so good, whether that's the relationships we see on the screen or the ones that we've built with our fire teams. And I think to see that immortalized in one of the most powerful scenes in a year that I think has had some really, really awesome story moments in the Witch Queen and especially in last season's Sever activities, with seeing Crow and Zavala and Keitel overcome their traumas, the face-off against Callus, things like that. Like, in a season with some really powerful story moments. In a season that has felt fairly lackluster on, like, the big moments thing when it comes to Nezarec, which we're about to get to Nezarec. But this was a pretty powerful cap-off, I think. And I think it works better here than as the intro to the next season. Like, it works great as a little coda to this season.
Oh, easily, for sure.
Let's talk about the tea. Let's sip some tea, guys.
Yeah, some Nez tea, some Nez quick.
So I think we were all taken aback when we saw this. We hear about, Mithrax is performing this ritual and this and that, and he essentially distills the essence of Nezarec into a more agreeable form, and it's a cup of fucking tea. So
nice teacup too.
I want to talk about the symbolism of the teacup. In a lot of the Saint and Osiris lore, when it's one of them by themselves, tea is involved. We specifically had one earlier this year where Devrim and Mark invited Saint over for tea to ask about Osiris, to give him a little bit of a break. And they specifically talk about tea. And Saint kind of laments that Osiris isn't there to join them, and this and that. He's still unconscious. He's still in a coma, this and that. But he stays by his side. You wouldn't know it by how much time he spends hanging out in the tower, but he's by Osiris's side, theoretically.
Like, I don't know if he spends more time with Osiris or the pigeons.
It's a toss-up at this point. But I want to put on the spin foil hat again.
Uh-oh.
This is the lore corner of it all tonight. I've seen a lot of people say that, well, Osiris inhaled 100% pure Nezarec. Like, he huffed that. He huffed it like he was huffing paint.
Yeah, he did.
And there's been a few theories floating around. Number one, I've seen the theory that, well, Osiris is going to get taken over by Nezarec. If that happens, this is the laziest story turn that Bungie's ever done, in my opinion. We just had Osiris possessed by Savathun for an entire year underneath our noses. The reveal of him being possessed again would carry almost no weight, in my opinion. And I think it would be a massive step backwards for a very talented story group that has shown I mean, for the better part of 2 years, that they can tell some great, engaging, threaded together stories.
And not only would it just piss off everyone.
I mean, like, this community is going to be upset no matter what you do, I think. But yeah, I think that would just set off. I would set off a lot of the story fiends in the community and a lot of the lore hounds.
Easily, buddy. Easily.
So I don't think it's that simple. Another theory that I've seen thrown out there is that Osiris is going to be like 50-50. It's going to be part him, part Nezarec. And I think doing like a split personality thing would actually be really fascinating from a story standpoint. One of the things that I wanted to bring up, because I actually saw this on a post on Reddit, and that's why I wanted to bring this up. There is a thing called the Curse of Nezarec. So you guys may remember back a few weeks into the season, when they finally determined that they were of Nezarec, that Ido said that basically a price has to be paid if you go to use them. Mm-hmm. There's consequences. There's consequences to the choice. And if you go all the way back to this, I have to reference a Reddit post, and I want to give credit to the person I'm reading this from. User Margwa _ on Destiny Lore posted this. Did a lot of research and posted this. The Palindrome Cube from Season of the Splicer. In this, Mithrax gets a vision of the future. Mithrax sat on a carpet in his meager quarters, held the Palindrome Cube in his hand and concentrated. Hours passed before Ido, concerned, sat beside him. She touched his arm. "What do you see?" she whispered. He saw the endless night split open. He saw fluid falling like white rain on the city, massive minotaurs rising from the shallow seas. He saw gunfire of the guardians in the tower, but it did not reflect on the rippling liquid, and he dismissed the vision. 100 more illusions took its place, and then 1,000, then 1,000 lifetimes worth. A shape frozen inside a crystal prison, a towering figure in white, recognition, flooding bloodshot eyes. A city of voices speaking at once, shadows taking form, the realization they had always been watched, tears on metal, a choice and its consequences. Lies, he answered plainly. Now, why is that interesting? Okay. I think this ties back to the Curse of Nezarec. Mithrax, in distilling Nezarec's power from the artifacts, did use his power. I want to call attention to Nezarec's Whisper. So that was the name of a glaive that we got last season, kind of foretelling a little bit, but also the lore that we read earlier this season about Mithrax's mother being drawn to the pyramid on the moon. She heard a voice beckoning her, whispering to her almost. And so when she got drawn there, what did she find? The body of Nezarec, and they divided the body up into the relics that we pursued this season. And by tapping into the powers of the darkness, they were able to attain great power to the point where the fallen lords fought over them. Now, let's back up to our vision. Okay, with all that in mind, let's go back to the vision. We can assume that he saw a vision of Season of the Lost. A shape frozen inside a crystal prison. That would be Savathun. Mm-hmm. The Witch Queen, a city of voices speaking at once, and a few other things that can be linked to the Witch Queen or the Lost. As extra context, it does not seem to be in chronological order. The realization they had always been watched seems to refer to Lost when Savathun talks to us and mentions there's something in between light and dark that has always been watching us. But then there's Tears on Metal, which most likely refers to Osiris waking up with Saint. Finally, we have a choice and its consequences. Mithrax is quick to dismiss this vision, and the writer put the emphasis on the choice and its consequences. I believe this choice was him using Nezarec's power. Keep in mind, when he does, he already knows about the Curse of Nezarec. He is seemingly fine with sacrificing himself so Osiris can live. The consequence is death. He doesn't want to believe he'll die from his life being sucked out by a disciple of the witness, so he refuses to believe it. The implication, if this theory turns out to be true, is that Mithrax has known that it was his destiny to die since his visions in Season of the Splicer. Now, I want us to call back to Savathun's Two Truths and a Lie. If we're all still here, if we're all still following this plotline, Mithrax has known about his death. He's taken actions to basically fulfill the prophecy without knowing it, or without caring. He is doing this out of his brotherly love for Saint. Saint is his closest ally in humanity, from, his enemy to his greatest ally. And we've seen that time and time again since the events of Splicer. In Savathun's Two Truths and a Lie, she says in one of her lines, humanity will not be the last to be raised up by the Traveler. We have speculated for a very long time on this show that Mithrax will become the first Elixni Guardian. And I think we're closer to that than ever, because we still haven't fulfilled the death from spoiler alert either. What if the pinnacle thing of next season is Mithrax dies because he's been taken over by the spirit of Nezarec? What if you had to kill Mithrax because he's been taken over?
Brother.
Yeah. What if it's that split personality thing, but Mithrax knows it and he begs you, the only way to get rid of Nezarec is to kill him, and he knows it, and it's this really emotional scene, and then the season ends with him getting resurrected.
Would you guys want the Guardian to kill him or Saint to kill him?
It'll be the Guardian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
just think if it was Saint, it'd be more like, oh my god.
This is a theory that I've had for a little while. We have the legend of Shin Malphur, right? And in the legend of Shin Malphur, in The Last Word, and Jaren Ward, Dredge and Yor, all that hubbubaloo, you have Jaren Ward's ghost, who, upon meeting Shin Malphur for the first time, was drawn to him, it's said. And Jaren Ward, when he was killed by Dredge and Yor, basically told his ghost, don't resurrect me, go to Shin. And it's the only known instance of a ghost joining somebody who was still living. Shin has never truly died. And it's the only instance we know of somebody's ghost passing on. We've had this kind of explored with Finch, right? What if a ghost could make its own choices? What if a ghost could choose its risen, right? What if it didn't have to be forced into this destiny, so to speak?
Ha.
We know Osiris lost Sagira, and we don't know if that means, well, we kind of know from Eris that just because you lost your ghost doesn't mean that you're going to die right away. You can, in fact, live for hundreds of years like she has. It's just that this life is your last.
Mm-hmm.
What if Saint decides he doesn't want to be immortal anymore because he can't bear losing Osiris again, and Geppetto is the ghost that resurrects Mithrax in another show of sacrifice to repay the favor?
I mean, I can see that being the ultimate, this is me, my retribution, because of how Saint was a monster, and how now they're homies, and if Mithrax is on the verge of death, he can be this is the way I'm basically saying sorry for being an asshole, and we are now true full-blown brothers type deal.
I want to be really clear that if this were to happen, I do think that the scene of the Guardian mercy killing Mithrax would have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, when does this happen? Does this take place as an end of season thing?
I don't think so, because I think you would have to establish Mithrax before Lightfall, the new Mithrax, right?
Well, and so that's where I'm kind of going with this. I'm going to propose a very wacky theory.
Spinfoil hat?
I want us to think to Season of the Haunted. When we got the dungeon a week into the season, we hadn't quite dealt with everything, but it was kind of the pinnacle of where the story was going. We were going into Callus's mind. Okay, in the timeline, it's a little iffy where it takes place. But it can be assumed that it takes place before you fight Callus at the end of the season. What if the dungeon is you fighting Mithrax when he's been possessed?
Hold up.
I mean,
what if you fight a possessed Mithrax in the ruins of the Deepstone Crypt?
I mean, that would make sense. I think that'd be cool. I mean,
that'd be insane.
Yeah.
We've seen instances of NPCs coming in to help, in story missions. What if Saint and Ido are there with you?
Oh, God.
I would feel like they would almost have to be on comms with you. And I'm straight spitballing. I'm straight speculating right now. Because if it's going to be a Warmind season, you're going to go to the Deepstone Crypt at some point. You have to. You simply have to. That's the only place with the tech that you would need to put him into a new exo body. I think where they're going to take Mithrax is, because I'm firmly in the camp of Mithrax will die. Mithrax, I was already in the camp of it before. I'm more certain than ever that I think Mithrax dies this coming season. Mm-hmm. I think that he is the death that shocks everyone, because he clearly still has a lot to do here. He still has a big role to play. And Ido is not ready to lead. Aramis doesn't feel like she can come back into the fold. But Mithrax's story has been all about redemption. And I fully believe he did this not only out of his, brotherly love for Saint. And he's doing this for a guy he's never met Osiris. Mm. He's never met him. He is doing this because of how much he cares for Saint. Mm-hmm. But also, I believe, to atone for his past. This whole season had a whole underlying tone of he's trying to escape his past. And I think he thinks that this sacrifice, this payback would achieve that fully. Mm-hmm. I want to leave us with one final thought, and that's on the tea. I want to come back to the tea really quickly. So, or even before that, I want to keep reading from this post because I think it's brilliant. So, Mithrax has been looking for a way to harness Nezrak's power. He said the relics were connected by threads only he alone could perceive. They whispered to him. He performed a conversion. He claimed from them a mass of primal darkness, distilled it, transformed its terrifying energy into a more agreeable state. So the first thing here is threads and how they connect to the relics. I think that this is probably related to Strand. I think the poster here does really, really good here. Eris has talked about the weave, but we're not the first ones to find that. Even as far back as Arrivals, Drifter mentioned seeing lines that are everywhere but never end. He brings this up to Eris and is concerned about it. This is probably a reference to the weave itself. We know that Nezarek's consciousness is in each of the relics. He whispers to the people in them, tells them about the final shape, etc. He likely does this through the weave. Somehow he has utilized this to the point where he made it so even if he died or got cut up into little tiny pieces, he would still be able to live and fully control himself. He's very clearly been talking to Mithrax. We've already talked about how he saved, his mom and this and that. This is an alarming thing. The primal darkness that Mithrax turns into tea was part of Nezarek, perhaps his blood even. It's said that the Fallen poured from one vessel into another, and that comes from the Delicate Tomb lore, when they cut up Nezarek and put him in the relics. So this primal darkness was inside of him. Osiris inhaled pure Nezarek. We've already established that.
Yep.
It's implied Nezarek understands how to access the weave, and Osiris now has Nezarek inside of him. This comes back to the whole 50-50 idea. And we also know that he is a key player in Lightfall, from the key art and from the description of the Collector's Edition. Mm-hmm. Osiris could very well have a dual personality of him and Nezarek. The developers did mention in the reveal stream that people were going to help us out with fragments, not just Strand. Maybe Orsiak helps us with these fragments and teaches us how to really use the weave properly. So that's the final thought I want to leave us on. I think that there's a couple possibilities here, and I think all roads lead to to Mithrax dead. Mm-hmm. Dead and resurrected. I think it's lined up too perfectly. I think there would be some poetry in Aramis being the first one risen, but I do believe it'll be Mithrax. His daughter is described, for God's sake. She can remind him of everything that her and Saint will remind him of everything that they've gone through.
Yeah, plus we talked about how if they did that,
and she knows all the dark shit now too.
Yeah, plus we already talked about if they did that with Aramis, it's literally almost identical to the story of Crow, and so.
Yeah, and I don't see them wanting to really rehash that. But guys, do we have any final thoughts on this? I know that I talked an awful lot. This is our lore corner for tonight, was all of this, because we pulled from several different pieces. And again, shout out to the Destiny Lore subreddit and user Margwa. I saw this when I was randomly scrolling through my feed back on Tuesday, And it did not gain a whole lot of traction in that community, but I thought that this was a theory worth sharing. So,
no, I think it's cool.
And Andre, any final thoughts here?
I mean, whenever I listen to the pod and you start talking about theories, I'm always like, holy shit, I never thought of that. So again, I never thought that this would be a thing, but the way you explain it, I'd almost be shocked if none of what you said happened, because it all just fits too well, like almost scary how well it all fits.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens this next season. This got me pumped for next season. But we're gonna move on to we're gonna move on to questions this week. Zao Ambrosia wrote in and asked about the cutscene. With the way the cutscene we got showing Osiris waking up by drinking the Nezi soup, do we think this will play out later on? I'm wondering if Osiris may turn bad or have issues with essentially taking in darkness like that from Nezarec. We just talked about that at length, so we answered your question before we even got to it. Here's a good one. Here's a good one for us. Sammy writes in and asks, if you had to say over the next secret mission to be in Destiny, what mission would you make? Where would it be? What enemy race or boss, etc.?
Okay, secret mission being what exactly?
So something like the Whisper of the Worm mission or Outbreak Perfected.
Okay. So if we had to choose a gun to have one?
No, I don't think you need to choose a gun. Just like if you were creating your own hidden mission, what would you want? Cool. And what would you want it to be?
What I would want to go do, I'm really curious about the Deep Stone, so I'd want it to involve the Deep Stone a lot and really explore that in detail, because there's so much of that could just be explored, especially like the Moonwalk, if that's what that's called. I can't remember exactly. Is it the Moonwalk? Is that where you're outside?
Spacewalk, yeah.
Spacewalk, thank you. Yeah. But yeah. Deep Stone Crypt, Europa. Give me a secret mission on that. Also, give me secret missions in general. I mean, what the hell? I want some more. I want to do a secret mission give me a secret mission that lasts half a season, for God's sakes. Like, I want more of them. Yeah.
So I would say if I were building a secret mission, I would want to go back into the Vex Weave. That we were in Splicer. I think that was an area that was just fascinating and I think underutilized. When you went in to go do the expunges, I would really like to see more of that. I don't know who you would fight though, because Qoria is supposedly dead. But I'd like to go back into there and explore that a little bit more. Maybe fight like one of the major Vex mines that we don't know about yet or something. I don't really like the Vex are still the most ambiguous enemy race, and I think that's why it interests me so much. Is I can't really put my finger on who I would want the boss to be, but I think there are some like really interesting things you could do there without having to be like, oh yeah, it's so and so that we've been building up in the lore. No, there's really no Vex that we've built up in the lore. So
no.
I'd like to see that. Maybe you fight maybe Clovis Bray has put himself into a Vex body or something, and you can fight him.
That'd be spicy.
As for the weapon, I mean, you have Divinity, which is literally a Vex weapon, and you have Vex Mythoclast already. Maybe like, so this would have to be like a completely new type of weapon, but like maybe dual Vex swords. Could be really cool.
SMGs, let's go.
Yeah, like dual like daggers or something almost. Dual Vex daggers could be really cool, or I don't know. A Vex fusion rifle, like it just shoots a Vex milk burst at your enemies.
A Vex glaive?
Think about it being, I mean, a Vex glaive could be cool. Think if like it was a Vex fusion rifle version of Witherhorde. You shot Vex milk at people. I think that could be really wacky. Corey, we're building secret missions here. It's our question from Sammy tonight.
Yeah.
If you had your choice of secret mission, what location, type of enemy, etc. would you want for it to be?
Man, I kind of thought about this a lot earlier when I read this question. And I really want to go back to the Plague Lands and find new Xivu weapons. And I know that we talked about a Xivu Trace rifle, Josh, at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that there are, I mean, not just the Wrath of the Machine raid, but like I still think that some of the chambers in that area could be really cool and bring back some of that like that coding puzzle that we got Outbreak Prime from. I think that would be super cool, but also make it, you know, challenging, like, you know, the Outbreak Perfected kind of puzzle. Like I really like the idea of going back into like that area and finding Xivu weapons.
Okay.
Mostly because I love Outbreak Perfected. It's like my favorite gun by far in the game.
I do really like Outbreak. It's just such a good utility gun.
Yeah.
Joasis asks, if you could create a fourth class in Destiny, what would it be called, and what's one super it would have? Joe, we're gonna have to like genuinely think on this one, I think.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a good one for
mine.
You've got one.
Yeah.
Hit me. Andre's gonna give you an answer here.
So I don't know a name for it, but it would involve like, I think you guys have actually like talked briefly on it. It'd be like something to do with the Earth. So Titans, their super, basically they like reach into the ground and grab just a chunk of it and leap up and just yeet it into the ground and just create a giant AoE. Warlocks could basically like float and then like, again, AoE, but like spikes and like jagged rocks come up and just like, if you walk into it, you get hurt. And then for hunters, I'm gonna give you guys a punching one. You guys summon this like earth armor, and you just go around just freaking right hooking everything for like 10 seconds. Just give her. That's just that's just like me thinking about it right now. I didn't really have time to.
Interesting. I do like that. I certainly don't have an answer for this question.
Yeah, I feel like we need to sit on this and actually talk about it with him when he's on next week.
Yeah, Joe, you're gonna have to answer your own question next week. Just so
Joe.
Abel Johnny asks, "Are you fellas gonna buy the AC armor day one or wait for it to rotate for Bright Dust?" Neither, you fuck.
I don't think it's gonna go for Bright Dust.
I mean, the Fortnite armor did. If the Fortnite armor can go for Bright Dust, this is gonna go for Bright Dust.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like Epic wants their money more than Ubisoft, so.
I would have said that you.
And it's worth noting that armor did cost more in terms of silver.
Yeah.
So it's fully coming. And then we have one final question. Zhao also gave us a second question. What is a snack combination you've had that sounds gross or weird but was actually good?
Okay. It's not a snack combination, but I did it while I was on vacation, and every time I brought it up to somebody, people thought it was weird. But Josh, you'll appreciate this. The Mickey waffle, right? You put a big pile of Mickey waffles on your plate, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sausage gravy instead of syrup.
Oh, what the?
Okay, that's intriguing. I mean, listen, I was not a believer in the spicy chicken sandwich, and then I had it with a waffle, and it was beautiful.
Okay. So big bowl, salad,
maple syrup,
provolone, Doritos. I'll get to that. You squirt pizza sauce, barbecue sauce, a little maple syrup, actual, and ranch. Boom, go.
Oh, what?
I don't know that I have anything like gross, or that's something that sounds gross.
Is this like dip the Oreos in like queso dip type thing too?
What in the?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ!
Okay. I don't have one, but Corey, you might be able to attest to this. When your wife was pregnant, did she ever like eat mustard on watermelon?
No.
Okay.
She didn't have any weird things.
No? Okay. Mine, when she was pregnant with my son, she had the unfathomable craving for mustard on watermelon, and I refused to go near her when she ate it.
I had a teacher in high school once who told me that when she was pregnant, she bought a big, like, Costco-sized tub of mayonnaise and would just
just stop, please.
Shove Oreos in.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I can never have a conversation with you ever again. Thank you for that.
Look, I'm a big fan of mayonnaise, but
it's like the Michael Scott episode when he's like stressing out at work and they're like, it's 9 a.m. Isn't it a little bit early for ice cream? This isn't ice cream. It's mayonnaise and black olives. And listen, I like mayo. I like black olives. I love them on my sandwich together. I don't think I could eat them by themselves. No, okay, I've got one. I've got one.
Here we go.
Okay, so Andre, please enlighten me. I don't know what you guys have in Canada. Do you guys have Wendy's in Canada?
We do.
Okay, so it is no secret. I'm not a small man. I'm a bigger man. And that's because I've been to Wendy's a lot in my life. Wendy's I really like Wendy's chicken nuggets, their fries, and their Frosties. We've all done fries in the Frosty. Okay, if you haven't been living.
True.
I'm gonna one up here.
Oh God.
Lightly salt those chicken nuggets. I'm talking light salt. Dip those bad boys in that fucking Frosty.
A chicken nugget and a Frosty?
Chicken nugget and a Frosty.
That sounds elite. Oh my! I might have to.
Chicken nuggets and a Frosty. I'm telling you. Corey is looking at me with this look of disgust.
No, I'm actually quite excited because I really do like salt and I like a good chicken nugget. And
I mean,
it's one of the very few items that I still salt. I will lightly salt my chicken nuggets and then I will dip them in. But it has spread from not just being at a Frosty, it has spread to, like, if I get like a shake from somewhere, say I get a shake from Chick-fil-A, I'm eating the whipped cream off the top and then I'm dunking those chicken nuggets into that shake.
Yeah, you are.
Why don't you just get no whipped cream and skip that part?
Because I love whipped cream, Corey. Oh. I'm a fat man. I love whipped cream, okay?
Okay.
I clearly like dairy products.
That's fair.
But, man, listen, I'm telling you, chicken nuggets in some form of soft ice cream is elite.
When I try that, I will text both of you and let you know how it is.
I have a question for Andre before we go.
Ooh,
Andre,
okay.
It's your first time on the show. We should have done this at the top. But as is tradition, we have to ask you, what is your favorite kind of sandwich?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the sandwich casuals.
Sandwich casuals.
I mean, it is, right? It is. Favorite sandwich? Now, fast food sandwich?
Doesn't matter.
No, I want an actual sandwich. I don't want... You're not getting away with giving me, like, the Baconator here. What's your favorite type of sandwich? Best sandwich you've ever had?
Roasted garlic chicken.
Roasted garlic chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this an original creation?
I like to sometimes, you know, that one friend who likes to experiment and make different foods. I'm that guy. I like to sometimes mix up a bit, and so piece of toast, toast. I like to go barbecue sauce, spread some Parmesan cheese, a little bit of salt and pepper, lettuce, tomato, chicken, roasted garlic chicken breast, little bit of seasoning. On top of that bad boy, more lettuce. And then on the other toast, I got pizza sauce, bit more Parmesan cheese. Go.
Okay.
All right. I don't think we've ever had an original creation as the answer to that question.
I
respect it.
I gotta tell you though, since we're ending on sandwiches here, I've actually had a new go-to, but I haven't had it in a while. Maybe I'll have it this weekend. But so I don't know if you guys have ever been to Firehouse Subs.
Yes.
But the turkey bacon ranch there.
That sounds good.
Add jalapenos and extra bacon on toasted wheat, man. It's good.
I will say though, if I'm going out somewhere and I'm buying a sandwich, Josh, I'm looking at you when I say this. Five Guys.
I do like Five Guys.
I've never been to Five Guys, and there's one.
Five Guys.
It's just so expensive.
Five Guys is very expensive, but Five Guys burgers, brother, let me tell you, they are extreme, but they are so good.
Speaking of burgers, I'm really hungry. I'm so hungry now.
I really want to try that Earl's sandwich place you guys always talk about. I really want to try it.
You got it. You got to go.
I know.
And Andre, before we let Corey get us out of here, I know we've gone very long tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I would be remiss if I did not ask you this question.
Hit me.
What is your favorite current anime airing right now that is not My Hero?
Bleach.
Bleach? Okay,
Yeah.
so you're one of the Bleach heads. Got it.
Yeah, I was a Bleach head when it first came out. That was like the first anime I fell in love with. And then I watched it through, and it ended, and then we waited 10 years for this arc, and it's just been hit after hit after hit after hit. So I am on that train, and I'm not stopping until the wheels fall off on this thing.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Go watch Bleach.
Yeah.
Bleach, the 1,000-year Blood War arc. Come talk to me. Let's talk about it, please.
Corey, get us on out of here.
Yep, let's get out of here. I want to thank you guys for watching and or listening to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tower Casuals. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that stuff. Andre, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a long time coming.
It has been an absolute pleasure. It feels different being on this side instead of just hearing. Now, being the one, I thank you guys so much for your time each week that you do this. I look forward to what 2023 has to offer both you guys, and I'm happy to be in the book that is called The Tower Casuals.
Well, we're glad that you're here. We love all the questions. We love the videos that you always send us, and obviously, we play together sometimes. So. That's all right too, I guess. Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at ANNDRE_WILSON. The link in my bio has all my other socials. I figured it'd be easier if I said that. You can check that all out. Has my Twitter, has my YouTube, has my photography page. You can also find me on the Crossroads podcast with LaRon and Stoy. Other than that, you can find me in the Tower Casuals Discord, hanging out with everyone else in there.
Josh.
I'm here.
Where can we find you?
Oh, for now, you can still find me. Twitter, at Josh_Finn, 2 N's.
About Twitter, I thought that place was burned to the ground. What happened?
I mean, it is burning to the ground, just in slow motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of slow
Every day
motion,
we find out something new. I literally wake up and it's like, oh god, what happened while I was asleep?
What happened now?
You can find me at IamCoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me in the Tower Casuals Discord. You can find me all over the internet. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.